Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel BBC Rare Coins. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Washington Quarter Dollar. Let's start. Top 1. Most people look at a 1965 Washington quarter and see just 25 cents. It's a coin millions of Americans have handled, spent, and forgotten. But hidden among those countless coins is a version of the 1965 Washington quarter that has become one of the most valuable and expensive coins in U.S. history. Alongside it stands a rare modern marvel, a bizarre, one-of-a-kind script error quarter that stunned the collecting world when it sold for an eye-popping $76,000. These aren't myths. These are real coins, real stories, and real money. And they could be hiding in your pocket right now. Let's start with the legendary 1965 Washington quarter. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a major change that forever altered the value and composition of American coins. Due to rising silver prices, the Mint stopped producing quarters made of 90% silver. Instead, they introduced a new clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of nickel. Millions of these new clad quarters were minted in 1965, and most of them are only worth their face value, but not all of them. During the transition from silver to clad, some 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver planchets meant for the previous year's coins. These transitional error coins are incredibly rare. A genuine 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet looks almost identical to a normal one, but it weighs slightly more, and the edge appears solid silver instead of showing the copper core. These rare transitional errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. One of the most valuable 1965 silver quarters ever discovered was graded in near-perfect mint state and authenticated as a true transitional error. It sold for over $12,000, and that was years ago. Today, with coin values continuing to rise and demand for rare pieces stronger than ever, one of these elusive silver 1965 quarters could easily command a much higher price, but it doesn't end there. Other 1965 quarters have surfaced with rare minting errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets like nickel or dime blanks. These mistakes are incredibly uncommon and often result in one-of-a-kind pieces. A well-preserved 1965 quarter with a dramatic error and a high mint state grade can bring in serious money, sometimes over $10,000 or more. Now let's talk about a quarter that redefined what a modern error coin could be. The script error quarter dollar, a coin that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world when it was discovered and ultimately sold for a jaw-dropping $76,000. This coin didn't get its value from age or metal content. It got it from a freak minting anomaly, a die error that caused the lettering on the coin to appear in a warped, cursive-like style. Words like liberty and in God we trust weren't sharp and uniform like on every other quarter. They were twisted, almost handwritten in appearance, looking like some kind of stylized script. It was an error so rare, so distinct, that many experts couldn't believe it existed at all. What made this coin even more remarkable was its condition. It wasn't just rare, it was uncirculated, showing no signs of wear, with brilliant luster and sharp detail. A coin like this doesn't just appear every day. It's the result of an exact combination of mechanical failure, timing, and sheer luck. And somehow, it escaped the Mint's strict quality control and made its way into the world. When the coin was certified by one of the top grading services and listed for auction, collectors knew they were seeing something special, a true one-of-a-kind. Bidding was fierce, and when the final hammer fell, the price reached an astounding $76,000. That's right. A single quarter, worth 25 cents face value, sold for more than what most people make in an entire year. These stories remind us that some of the most valuable coins in history don't come from ancient times or foreign treasure chests. They come from the everyday, from pocket change, from overlooked drawers and forgotten jars. The 1965 Washington quarter and the $76,000 script error quarter are proof that the ordinary can become extraordinary. So before you spend that quarter, take a closer look. Check the weight. Inspect the edge. Look at the lettering. Look for errors, oddities, or anything that seems off. You never know when you might be holding a piece of numismatic history, a coin that turns 25 cents into tens of thousands of dollars. Because sometimes, in the world of coins, the rarest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Top 2. In the world of American coin collecting, some of the most valuable treasures aren't made of gold, nor are they centuries old. Sometimes, they're the coins we've seen every day. The kind we toss in a tip jar, hand over at the grocery store, or forget in the cup holder of a car. But hidden among these everyday coins are rare, valuable pieces that can change everything. One of them is the 1972 Washington quarter dollar, a coin so common in appearance, yet so rare in its most valuable form, that it has taken a legendary place in modern numismatic history. Alongside it is a stunning and truly unique script error quarter, which sold for a staggering $73,000, making it one of the most expensive modern quarters ever discovered. Let's begin with the 1972 Washington quarter, BY 1972. The Washington quarter had been in circulation for 40 years. It featured the iconic portrait of George Washington on the front and the familiar eagle design on the back. Minted in the hundreds of millions and made from copper nickel-clad rather than silver, the 1972 quarter doesn't immediately stand out as special. It's a coin almost every American has touched. But in the world of coin collecting, value often hides in rarity, error, and condition. And the 1972 quarter has all 3. One of the most important factors in determining a coin's value is its condition. A 1972 quarter in average circulated shape might be worth only face value. But in mint state, especially MS67 or higher, it becomes extremely rare. Very few 1972 quarters were struck with perfect detail and preserved in flawless condition. Those that can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially when certified by top grading agencies. But the real treasure lies in the rare error coins from this year. Some 1972 Washington quarters were struck off-center, double-struck, or on the wrong planchet, such as a blank intended for a nickel or even a foreign coin. These types of errors are incredibly rare and can multiply the coin's value many times over. One of the most famous 1972 quarters was found struck on a dime planchet, causing it to appear smaller, thinner, and missing some key design elements. That coin was authenticated, graded, and sold for thousands at auction. There are also examples of 1972 quarters with dramatic die clashes, where the dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse on the obverse and vice versa. These coins look bizarre, one of a kind, and they're prized by error collectors who know exactly how rare they really are. Now, let's turn to one of the most astonishing and valuable quarters ever discovered, a coin that left experts speechless and made headlines across the collecting world. The script error quarter, which sold $4.73000 at first glance. It looks like a normal Washington quarter, but a closer look reveals something truly bizarre. The coin's lettering, especially the phrases "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, doesn't appear as it should. Instead of sharp, clean, machine-pressed letters, the text is distorted and curved, almost as if it were written by hand in cursive. This mysterious script-like appearance isn't damage from circulation. It's a legitimate minting error caused by a damaged or misaligned die. The error gave the coin an unmistakable look, one that couldn't be ignored. It was as if the U.S. Mint accidentally signed the coin with a human hand. The error is believed to be a result of a rare mechanical failure, possibly involving die fatigue or a misfeed during the striking process. Only a handful of similar errors have ever surfaced, and this one was the most dramatic and complete. Even more incredible was the condition of the coin. It had never been circulated. It was bright, brilliant, and sharply struck, aside from the intentional-looking error in the script. Graded in a high mint state by professionals and authenticated as a genuine mint error, this coin quickly gained attention from top collectors. At auction, it became the centerpiece of a heated bidding war, and when the final bid landed at $73,000, the coin entered American coin lore as one of the most expensive modern quarters ever sold. What makes stories like these so thrilling is the possibility that coins like them are still out there, unnoticed, undiscovered, sitting in jars of spare change, tucked into forgotten drawers, or exchanged without thought in everyday transactions. The 1972 Washington quarter and the legendary $73,000 script error quarter prove that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Every quarter you handle could be the one. Every coin you check could reveal something rare, something valuable, something historic. It's not about luck, it's about knowing what to look for. Study the lettering. Check for strange markings. Inspect the edges. Look for odd sizes or weights. And always keep an eye out for those once-in-a-lifetime minting errors that turn 25 cents into tens of thousands of dollars. Because in the world of coins, one moment of curiosity can lead to a lifetime of discovery. Top 3. In the vast ocean of everyday change, it's easy to overlook a simple quarter. Most people spend them without a second thought, drop them into vending machines, or leave them forgotten in jars. But sometimes, within that ordinary pile of coins lies a hidden gem. A coin so rare, so unexpected, and so valuable that it can shock even experienced collectors. One such coin is the 1980 Washington quarter dollar, a coin from a common year that, in its rarest and most valuable form, has earned a legendary status in American numismatics. Even more jaw-dropping is the story of a bizarre and truly unique script error quarter, which sold for a mind-blowing $66,000, making it one of the most expensive modern quarters ever recorded. Let's start with the 1980 Washington quarter. 1980 was not a particularly rare year for quarters. Over a billion were minted between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The coin design hadn't changed. George Washington's iconic portrait still faced left on the obverse, with the majestic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows on the reverse. It was a workhorse coin, built for circulation, not for collecting. But as with many great numismatic discoveries, value often hides not in the quantity, but in the rarity of condition and unexpected errors. The most sought-after 1980 quarters are those found in mint state condition, especially in grades of MS-67 and higher. While many were made, almost none were preserved in flawless, untouched condition. Most saw heavy circulation, making pristine examples rare. When a coin from a high mintage year like 1980 surfaces in nearly perfect condition, free of scratches, discoloration, or weak strikes, it becomes a collector's prize. One such coin, a 1980 Washington quarter graded MS-67, sold for thousands at auction, simply due to its condition, high appeal, and scarcity at that level. But condition is just one part of the story. What truly elevates a coin into legendary status is the presence of a minting error, a mistake made during the coin's production that results in something unusual, sometimes one of a kind. Some 1980 quarters were discovered with off-center strikes, double dies, and even struck on the wrong planchet. In one case, a quarter was struck on a nickel planchet, resulting in a smaller, lighter coin with missing details. That piece, authenticated and graded, sold for thousands, and its discovery reignited interest in examining even the most modern coins for potential errors. And then came the coin that no one expected, a Washington quarter that would change the way collectors saw modern errors forever. The script error quarter dollar, discovered by an eagle-eyed collector and later sold for a staggering $66,000, became one of the most famous modern mint errors in recent memory. It wasn't old. It wasn't made of silver or gold. It was a regular clad quarter, the kind you could easily dismiss as common. But it carried a mistake so strange and so visually stunning that it became an instant sensation. On this quarter, the lettering was completely distorted. The phrases, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date weren't sharp or clean. Instead, they appeared twisted, warped, and strangely script-like, as though someone had written them by hand in cursive rather than struck them with a machine. This bizarre effect wasn't caused by post-mint damage or wear. It was a genuine die error, most likely the result of a damaged or misaligned die during production. The result was a quarter that looked like it came from another reality, familiar, yet hauntingly different. The coin was authenticated by one of the top grading agencies and preserved in high mint state condition. When it went to auction, collectors knew they were looking at something truly unique. The bids came fast and furious, and when the final price landed at $66,000, it set a new standard for what modern error coins could achieve on the market. This story is a powerful reminder that even coins from recent decades, even something as ordinary as a 1980 quarter, can turn out to be historic, valuable, and life-changing. These coins are out there. They aren't locked away in museums or hidden in safes. They're in circulation, in jars, in pocket change, waiting to be noticed. The 1980 Washington quarter and the now legendary script error quarter show us that numismatic treasure doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it's dull gray with a copper edge. Sometimes it jingles with the rest of your change. But when you take the time to look closer, to check the details, inspect the edges, examine the strike and the lettering, you might find more than just 25 cents. You might find a story, a mystery, a rare piece of minting history. So check your quarters. Every date, every mint mark, every tiny detail, because hidden among them could be the next great find, a coin that transforms an ordinary moment into something unforgettable. Top 4. In the world of coin collecting, it's not always the oldest coins or those made of silver and gold that bring in the biggest paydays. Sometimes it's the modern coins, the ones hiding in plain sight, that shock collectors with their rarity and staggering value. One such coin is the 1990 Washington quarter dollar, a coin most people overlook as ordinary, but in its rarest form has become one of the most valuable and expensive coins in U.S. history. Alongside this surprising discovery is another stunning error coin, a script-style quarter dollar that defied logic and expectations when it sold for an incredible $62,000, cementing its place in modern numismatic legend. Let's begin with the 1990 Washington quarter, a coin minted during a time when quarters were produced in massive numbers, with billions of them entering circulation. At first glance, it's just another piece of loose change. But beneath its common appearance lies the potential for extreme value, depending on condition, error, and strike quality. In most cases, a regular 1990 quarter is worth only face value. But when struck with perfect detail and preserved in pristine condition, such as a grade of MS67 or higher, its value rises dramatically. Very few 1990 quarters survive the minting process and subsequent circulation in such high-grade condition. Those that did are considered condition rarities. A top-graded 1990 Washington quarter can sell for thousands of dollars to collectors who specialize in high-end modern coins. But the real excitement in the 1990 quarter series lies not just in perfect examples, but in rare and dramatic minting errors. Over the years, a few 1990 quarters have been discovered with shocking mistakes, off-center strikes, double denominations, and incorrect planchet errors, including coins struck on blanks meant for dimes or even foreign currency. These anomalies are extremely rare and draw serious attention when they surface. One known 1990 quarter was found struck on a planchet intended for a penny, giving it a copper color and lighter weight. Another had a mirror-like proof finish but was struck with regular business strike dies, creating a strange hybrid known as a presentation strike. The value of these error coins depends on uniqueness, condition, and how dramatic the error appears. Some examples have sold for upwards of $5,000 to $10,000, and those with multiple errors combined, such as a double strike on a wrong planchet, can climb even higher. But nothing comes close to the headline-grabbing story of the script error quarter dollar, a coin from the same general era that shook the numismatic world when it fetched an astounding $62,000 at auction. At first, collectors were confused by what they saw. The coin looked like a typical quarter, but something was wrong and remarkably unique. The lettering on the coin, including Liberty, In God We Trust, and even the date, appeared twisted, distorted, and almost handwritten, like a cursive signature etched into the metal. It wasn't damage, and it wasn't a counterfeit. This was a legitimate mint error caused by a severe die issue that warped the design in a way the minting press never intended. Experts examined the coin and confirmed its authenticity. The distortion was the result of an extremely rare die malfunction, possibly involving a misaligned collar, defective hub, or mechanical shift during striking. Whatever the cause, the result was clear: a one-of-a-kind error that transformed a regular U.S. quarter into a visual oddity unlike any other. Adding to its value was the coin's exceptional condition. It had never been circulated. No scratches, no wear, high luster, and beautiful details, aside from the intentional chaos caused by the error. Certified by a top grading service and labeled as a major minting anomaly, this quarter sparked a storm of attention. And when it went to auction, collectors didn't hold back. The final hammer price was $62,000, a breathtaking number for a modern quarter dollar, and one that proved again how powerful a rare error can be in the right condition. These coins, the 1990 Washington quarter in ultra-high grade, and the one-of-a-kind script error quarter remind us that true value is often hidden beneath the surface. They aren't made of precious metals. They weren't struck in the 1800s, and they weren't meant to be rare. But their scarcity, uniqueness, and the fascination they inspire make them true legends in the coin collecting world. So the next time you get change back from a store, don't ignore the quarters. Look closely. Check the year. Examine the lettering. Watch for strange shapes, odd edges, missing details, or anything that looks just a little different. Because in a world where millions of coins are made each day, that one flawed or perfectly preserved piece might be the one that turns your pocket change into $10,000, $20,000, or even $62,000. Every coin tells a story. And some tell the story of how the ordinary becomes extraordinary, just by chance. Top 5. In the world of American coin collecting, value doesn't always come from age or precious metal. Sometimes, the most valuable and expensive coins are the ones hiding in plain sight. Coins that look ordinary but hold extraordinary stories. One such treasure is the 1992 Washington quarter dollar, a coin so familiar and widely circulated that millions pass through our hands unnoticed. But in its rarest and most valuable form, this coin has earned legendary status among collectors. And when paired with the jaw-dropping discovery of the script error quarter dollar, which sold for an unbelievable $60,000, the 1992 quarter becomes a symbol of how modern coins can carry historic value. Let's begin with the 1992 Washington quarter, a coin that most people wouldn't look at twice. It features the classic design we've all seen for decades: George Washington's portrait on the front, an eagle with outstretched wings on the back. Over 900 million were minted that year between Philadelphia and Denver, making it one of the more common dates of the era. But despite the massive production, a small number of 1,992 quarters have become incredibly rare and valuable, and it all comes down to minting mistakes, preservation, and overlooked variations. One of the most valuable versions of this coin is the 1992 close AM reverse variety, a transitional design mistake where the spacing between the A and M in America is significantly closer than usual. This design was intended for proof coins only, but a small number of business strike coins were accidentally minted with the proof reverse. It's a tiny detail that can make a massive difference. These coins, when authenticated and graded in high mint state condition, have sold for thousands of dollars, with some reaching over $10,000, depending on grade and rarity. Another reason some 1992 quarters have soared in value is their mint state condition. A standard 1992 quarter is worth only face value, but a coin graded MS67 or higher is incredibly rare due to the quality control and mass production methods of the time. Most coins from that year show wear, weak strikes, or surface blemishes, but the few that exist in pristine, untouched condition are highly sought after by collectors and have sold for thousands in certified auctions. But it's not just about condition or design varieties. The real magic happens when a coin like the 1992 Washington quarter has a dramatic minting error. And that brings us to one of the most shocking discoveries in modern U.S. coin history: the script error quarter, which stunned the numismatic world when it sold for an astonishing $60,000. This error wasn't subtle. It wasn't a barely noticeable double die or a minor off-center strike. It was a full-blown die error that changed the way the coin looked entirely. The lettering on the quarter appeared in a distorted, script-like style, with the word Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," looking more like handwritten cursive than machine-struck letters. Even the date was warped and stretched, giving the coin a surreal, almost artistic appearance. Collectors and experts were baffled. At first, some suspected post-mint damage or manipulation. But after careful examination and certification by one of the top grading agencies, the coin was declared a genuine mint error, a result of a rare die failure or mechanical shift during the striking process. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a masterpiece of minting chaos. Even more incredible was the coin's condition. It was uncirculated, with full mint luster and no signs of wear. This combination, a one-of-a-kind error and a pristine surface, made it a collector's dream. When it went up for auction, it drew massive attention. Bidding was fierce. And when the final bid hit $60,000, It became one of the most expensive modern quarters ever sold. This coin now serves as a reminder of just how much can hide in the smallest details. A curve in a letter, a flaw in a die, a moment of misalignment in a factory that produces millions of coins a day. And yet, that one mistake turned an everyday quarter into a piece of numismatic history. These stories prove that modern coins can be just as exciting, valuable, and rare as ancient gold pieces. The 1992 Washington quarter and the now famous $60,000 script error quarter show that treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. So take a moment. Look at your change. Inspect the lettering, check the spacing, and examine the strike. You never know when you might find a minting anomaly or a rare variety that turns your 25 cents into a once-in-a-lifetime payday. Because in the world of coin collecting, the most ordinary coin can hide the most extraordinary value.